So, to begin, I know that the Creepshow Art allegations have been discussed so heavily by so many people over the past few weeks, and I know I've made my fair share of videos on it, but I'd like to clarify that I don't believe what I'm doing is in any way a way of milking this situation, as I believe every time I make a video, I bring more important information and subtext to light about this situation. Now, I'd like to preface this video by saying that I'm going to be discussing serious allegations against Creepshow Art. These are alleged, which means that what I'm stating is simply just my opinion on the evidence presented, and that opinion could change with more evidence. I'm not accusing Creepshow Art of anything, I'm not trying to slander their name in any way. Also, this video tackles serious topics like manipulation, depression, and a lot more, so this video should be taken with seriousness, I guess? But I'm going to try and make this video as lighthearted as it is for the subtext, because I want to make it as accessible to everyone as possible. But today, it appears that I'm going to be delving back into the Creepshow Art allegations that I've covered throughout the rest of this series that you can check out if you want, and I'm going to go in depth on how Creepshow Art has betrayed her friends, how content creators are now being forced into responding to this situation publicly, because otherwise people are just complaining that they're not saying anything about it, which I think is very disingenuous and scummy. You shouldn't force a creator to comment on anything, and also how Shannon's behavior has affected so many people mentally, and Shannon's known it the whole way and feigned ignorance. Like, I feel like a lot of people have discussed how Shannon betrayed Peaches, but I don't feel like anybody has discussed the fucking levels that goes to, like what that actually means, aside just Shannon being a liar. So if you're here to sit through, I do genuinely appreciate you taking a seat to watch another one of the Creep shows. That is such a shitty joke, but I'm gonna keep running with it because I find it relatively funny how unfunny it is. Okay, and final thing before I begin, if you're new to the channel or haven't already, I'm going to keep this intro as short as possible. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and that goal is only possible with your support. And also, if you'd like to support my other social media platforms like my Twitter, my Discord, my Instagram, I post a lot more of myself on there so that you'll get to see who I am as a person, aside just the content I produce and the scripts I write, which I feel like is a good way of you getting to know me, but no parasocial relationships, please. Also, if you'd like to support these videos financially as they take a lot of work, feel free to check out my Patreon, Ko-fi, and Join button. And that would all be highly appreciated. As I said, these videos are a lot of work, so you just being there to support them would be genuinely appreciated a lot. And also, if you'd just like to turn on notifications so you get notified every time I upload, I post at 6 PM GMT, 1 PM EST every single day. But with that being said, I'm gonna stop halting this video, let's get right into it, roll the tape. And to start this video, I'd like to start by looking over Creepshow Art's editor's video that they made discussing how they've been betrayed by Shannon. As far as I can tell, Shannon highlighted herself in their posts to not actually care about the feelings of these people when Shannon said that they weren't real friends and that they had nobody that was actually supporting them, while their editor was simultaneously DMing them, saying that they were there for them and a lot of other people were as well. And also how Shannon has refused to tell any of her friends anything about this situation. It's so incredibly upsetting. But Shannon's editors and artists have come out speaking out against Shannon. Now, Shannon's artist made a post where they basically said that yeah, they did art for Shannon, but they won't do art for Shannon anymore unless they do the second commission Shannon asked them for, because they do need the money. However, they don't agree with anything Shannon's done, and they are being completely unjustly harassed for their involvement with Shannon before knowing what Shannon had been up to, which simply isn't their fault. They shouldn't be blamed for something they simply couldn't have known. But on the bigger response, I guess, the more lengthy response, Shannon's editor made a video. I'd like to play some clips from that now and give my opinion from what's stated. So let's click the play button on that now.
I'm not going to be talking about a lot of what other people have talked about. This is just my own personal statement, whatever, because I've still been getting a lot of DMs, comments, things like that, asking me to address this situation, and I thought I had done it decently, but I guess ultimately I had to record this.
You see, this is a point that becomes a genuine problem. I've noticed this with a lot of content creators, be it Repzilla, or Creepshow's editor, or everyone else that Shannon's ever been involved with, but for some reason people believe that because Shannon's being called out, all of these people need to make videos denouncing what Shannon's done, and stating all of this stuff, putting aside their mental health to make a public statement for the sake of the viewers, which I think is absolutely stupid, People aren't obligated to make videos because you want them to. You shouldn't harass them like people have been doing to creators like Rapzilla for not wanting to cover drama about their friends. You aren't entitled to their videos. You aren't entitled to them making a statement on this situation, and harassing them into making one is not the right way to approach it, as you've got to consider this from their viewpoint. They've had a friend that's betrayed them, they've found out their friend has been doing all this terrible shit, and now they have no idea what to do. That friend is now blowing them off, and now they're being slammed by the internet for apparently not speaking against this creator. I feel like this is an insane problem. Content creators should not be being blasted because they don't want to rush their grieving or rush their dealing with the situation in private with their mental health for the sake of the public. That's simply not something a viewer should be entitled to, and a content creator should only speak on something if they want to.
I tend to try and distance myself from the whole internet drama sort of thing, so I never really knew too much about the topics of the video. I just knew what was presented to me in the voiceover and any screenshots or video clips that Shannon wanted me to include in the video. And I think, first of all, I want to apologize if I ever had a negative effect on anybody through any of the videos that I made for Shannon.
See, this is a point where I feel like Shannon's editor is being unfairly blasted for things that they simply aren't responsible for. When you hire an editor, you're paying someone to edit together the video you want, not what they want. So their opinion almost doesn't get considered into that video at all. Whether they agree with what you're saying, at the end of the day, they're being paid to produce a product. People get paid in multiple different jobs to do work that sometimes they don't agree with or support. An editor shouldn't be the one apologizing for views or behaviors shared in content, because either way, whether the editor was editing it or not, that content would still be out there, and that's still the viewpoint of the actual content creator. The editor is simply just editing it and giving them the product back for money. They are literally contracted work, basically. I feel like it's ridiculous to blame an editor for something that they didn't do because they're guilty by association, because they edited those videos on things they weren't educated about because they didn't need to be, because they were an editor, not a YouTuber.
This is a really hard video for me to make. Shannon was a good friend and one of the biggest cheerleaders and supporters of me and my channel. Very much kind of like a mentor figure. She would sit down and help me think of content ideas, made my thumbnails better, helped me kind of go through my analytics and figure out what was working and what wasn't. Very supportive of my growth on the platform and gave me advice constantly. And it's been very hard for me to wrap my head around this whole situation when the person involved was someone who I was close to.
I think this is another important thing for the editor to mention, because a lot of people have been going around and discrediting this video because, oh, he's just an editor, why does his opinion matter? Basically, everybody could comment on this situation. But what people aren't taking into account is that despite being an editor, Mbird was also friends with Shannon. They had a lot of talks with Shannon. They saw the insides and outs of Shannon's videos before they were edited. They got to see Shannon's raw opinion. I don't know if they actually cut out anything. I don't know how much editing they actually did on the content, but also, they knew Shannon on a personal level. Shannon had helped them with their channel. They have actual experiences with Shannon, which led to them making this video. I get people mocking it for the title or whatever, but it just feels disgraceful to pass off this whole video as some way of milking in or cashing in when someone gets cancelled, when they're actually stating a fair fact, and they only made this video because their Twitter statement wasn't considered enough by a lot of people who were foaming at the mouth at the thought of Mbird making a video on this.
I woke up the morning that shit kind of hit the fan, and I saw on her story it was just a black text that said thinking about quitting YouTube. And I didn't know what was going on at the time, so I sent her a message being like, I am here for you if you need to talk, whatever. And I was concerned, both as her friend and as the person who edits her videos. I was kind of shocked by the statement. And then I went on Twitter and saw what was happening. Shannon and I had a very, very brief conversation that day on Instagram. I know myself and countless others told her that we were there for her, and then she posted on her story that she had no real friends and no one was there for her. And it just kind of stung, and I didn't know what was going on.
And this again highlights how Shannon has hurt so many people with her disingenuous ways. Just like many other people that Shannon has wronged in the past M-Bird is one of those people. Shannon claimed that M-Bird wasn't a real friend, or that no one was there for them when M-Bird was there for them. Shannon didn't speak to them at all on what was going on, giving them only a brief conversation about this situation, which only feels like a way of leaving your friends in the dark when they're trying to understand and support you and be there for you in that time, leaving them only to be left with their own thought or to believe that you're betraying them, especially when right after you post publicly saying that you have no real friends. It just kind of comes across like, once again, Shannon was using more people to benefit herself, and it makes it come out like Shannon was referring to people like N-Bird as not real friends, and just people that she was using to benefit herself, which seems incredibly scummy, and maybe Shannon was just really upset and didn't think about how this came across, but it definitely does come across as inconsiderate to the people that actually were there for Shannon, and I don't really feel like it's a fair statement for Shannon to make. And this can be linked back to the Hopeless Peaches situation, because if you don't know, Hopeless Peaches was a content creator that Shannon pretended to be great friends with, constantly making videos of Peaches saying that Peaches was great, that she had all this promise, that Peaches was an amazing creator, all of these plethora of different compliments, even letting Peaches take over videos on her channel at times. And then one day Shannon came out with a call out against Peaches, where she alleged that Peaches was a terrible friend, that Peaches had harassed her in private, that Peaches was doing all the shit talking behind her back, and that Peaches was someone that genuinely didn't deserve what she had. And combining that with the lolcow post shitting on Peaches, it really comes across like Shannon was being disingenuous in her post about Peaches, especially because if you watch my Hopeless Peaches documentary, the video that's pinned at the front of my channel, I go through every allegation Shannon makes, and literally none of them have any actual merit when you see the full context and evidence against Shannon. It's incredibly manipulative of Shannon to frame Peaches to be a villain, and it really only comes from the fact that Peaches criticized Shannon from some of her videos, which just seems incredibly scummy at best and completely fucked up at worst. The problem is that this really shows more about Shannon than you'd even think, because Shannon and Peaches knew each other for a long time. Shannon knew Peaches struggled with mental health, Shannon knew a whole fuck ton more about Peaches, and then when Shannon stood by and let Prisonmate Luke make a video where Prisonmate Luke ran with Shannon's claims and alleged Peaches was a suicide baiter, Shannon shared this video apparently on her lolcow account, and a whole bunch more were not denouncing the fact that she wrongfully was supporting a video that claimed that Peaches was a suicide baiter, knowing that Peaches struggled with mental health issues, was incredibly fucked up of Shannon, and it's so disappointing to see the fact that she said nothing about it. And it really shows more about how Shannon gave no fucks about how Peaches was mentally, just like she allegedly didn't with Emily Artful. It just shows that Shannon didn't care, and that Shannon just wanted what was best for her as a brand, I guess, and Peaches was kind of a stepping stone, someone she could backstab, like she always does, with this petty fucking Mean Girls drama. And she didn't care if Peaches got hurt, she knew that Peaches was struggling, she knew that Peaches was at risk to her own life, and not once did she make any effort, and she was still shitting on Peaches after I had a conversation in emails with Shannon after Peaches had attempted suicide. Shannon was still making private posts mocking Peaches past that point, which is fucked up. And it's fucked up that Shannon kept speaking about Peaches past that point. It's fucked up that Shannon made no active effort outside of those emails to actually support Peaches, other than basically threatening Peaches a few days later to keep her silent on speaking out against the injustice Shannon did against Peaches, which you can see the whole thing for in Peaches' video. Shannon has fucked up so many people's lives like Peaches, and put it in the position where Peaches was considering quitting YouTube. She lost all opportunity of reaching 100k subs. I believe she dropped like 20k. And she thought that her channel was dead. I told her she'd recover it, but she thought that she'd never have a chance again. So it's great to see that people have at least checked out Peaches because of this drama, and she's got her 100k subs now that she rightfully deserves for her amazing content. And just to clarify, I'm not discounting some of the real experiences people have had with Peaches. What I'm saying is, a lot of what Shannon said was fucked up and completely outlandish. But with that being said, I am going to end this video here. because I believe that there's not really much more I need to say at this point on the Shannon allegations. If more people come out with allegations against Shannon, I will cover them. However, this was supposed to be the little bow on the top to cover all the final little things that paint the full story of what happened in the Shannon situation, and hopefully I don't have to speak about this again. Hopefully Shannon learns. Hopefully Shannon just doesn't quit YouTube and never return and fucking prove herself innocent, or at least apologize to the people she fucking wronged. It's just so sad that all Shannon seems to view this as is the reason that she just needs to jump ship now. Seems like Shannon never had any actual motive to do YouTube, and from the interview she did with a smaller creator in the past that Omnia highlights in her newest video, it seems like Shannon's goal was never really about actually making content she cared about. And that's really genuinely upsetting, to see that Shannon seemingly only cared about what benefited her most, and not about her audience or the platform she built or the friends she made across the journey. It's just a really sad situation, and I hope Shannon responds and takes accountability for what she's done. What I'm saying here is that Shannon does deserve a chance of redemption if Shannon was to show that she changed. All of this is incredibly fucked up, but I like to believe that people can learn from their mistakes. I hope that Shannon responds though. I do genuinely hope that she responds. I believe that that is fucking necessary at this point with how many people she's apparently fucked over. But before this video ends, feel free to check out my other social media like my Twitter, Discord, Instagram, all linked down below. If you could support me on those platforms to help me grow them, that would be highly appreciated. My Discord server is about to tick over 2,000 members, my Twitter is at 3.5k followers, and my Instagram is almost at 1,000 followers. If you could check out those platforms respectively and support them, that would be highly appreciated. Furthermore, you can support me financially through Patreon, Ko-fi, my join button, and a whole plethora of other donation options if you are willing. So if you could support me, that would be genuinely appreciated. These videos are a lot of work, so if you could consider just giving me a little bit of your money to support them, that would mean a lot to me. With that being said, I hope to fuck I never have to cover Shannon again. If you're gonna call me a milker, call me a milker. I don't care. I wanted to cover shit that I think actually matters. And with that being said, I'll see you next time. Peace.
Says she wanna rock with it like me. I'm a stylish guy. Spend a little guap with it like me. We can catch a fly. Says she wanna rock with it like me.